Hello everyone, I'm here today with Jan Ekop, a Hearthstone player from Germany. Recently won the Insomnia Truesilver Championship. We'll talk about that in a while. So hello Ekop, how are you doing today?
Huh? A little bit tired, I guess, because I ate a lot today. So
Oh,
eating a lot makes you tired. Who would have guessed?
oh right. So we had a small introduction about you, but could you tell me a bit more about yourself? And of course, if it's true that you speak 5 different languages?
Yeah, although not fluently. Like I have to add that it's not like I'm really good at languages, but of course, if you don't use them, then you just forget them eventually, right?
Of
So
course.
I only speak 3 languages fluently because I use them on a daily basis. It's Polish, German, and English, of course. And yeah, besides that, it's like a little bit of Spanish and French and some Italian,
That's quite a
but
lot.
it's like nothing like to communicate fluently and stuff. Even though I had it for like a couple of years in school, Spanish especially, I yeah just generally don't use it, so I forget most of it.
Alright, so will you tell us a bit more about yourself, your hobbies, anything?
Yeah, so gaming is my hobby, right? I mean, that's pretty obvious. Otherwise, I
Of
wouldn't
course.
be here in this industry. And yeah, I play all kinds of games. I love games in general, no matter what kind of game it is. It's board games, card games, video games, social games, drinking games, any kind of game I enjoy playing, especially when it's a competitive one. I really thrive on competition and I always want to win, of course. So, yeah, games where I can be competitive against honorable opponents and worthy opponents, I thrive in those games particularly.
Awesome. So about your battle tag, does it have any special meaning or significance? How did you come up with it?
So, Ekop has been my nickname pretty much since 2004, I think. Um, yeah, it's unlike many people who give their own nickname. My nickname was actually given by my classmates, and I just stuck to it because I think it's catchy and short and sweet, and I like it. And what it basically means is, um, back in school, it's funny a little bit because like they tried to use this nickname to make fun of me. And what it basically means is there was a German rapper called Echo Fresh, and because I was into hip hop, and most of my classmates weren't. They were more like into rock, I guess, or other kind of music. They wanted to like make fun of me because I was like the only one really into hip hop back in the day, and Echo Fresh was like is like one of the German rappers who was also ridiculed. So they wanted to make fun of me by comparing me to him. So it was first Echo Palys, so Echo and my last name. Then it was Echo P, and afterwards just Ekop.
Oh, that's really, really interesting, in fact. And how did the zero come up that you have on Twitch?
Oh, that's so yeah. Sure, you could take it in a way that it's yeah, Ek OP, right? Like because O zero O, but yeah, Ek OP. But no, it's basically just because I had an Ekop, like the EKOP. Um, I had this account, but then I lost access to it, and I just made a new one, and it was with a
Oh,
zero instead of with an O. So yeah, I didn't bother changing it back, I guess. So yeah, that's the only reason why it's EK0P, but usually it should be EKOP.
just the O, of course. Okay. So how did you pick up Hearthstone, and what do you like most about it?
Yeah, Hearthstone I picked up pretty much when it came out, like even before I had access to it, when it was still in closed beta, and I didn't have access to it with a beta key yet. I already was watching a lot of Hearthstone, theorizing a lot about it, and yeah, I was really into the game. I was watching streams and all that, And eventually, like I was also one of the first to get access to Hearthstone as well during the closed beta. Of course, yeah, I really wanted to get into Hearthstone in the first place because it is the spiritual successor to the World of Warcraft trading card game, which I played professionally from 2007 until like they canceled it because of Hearthstone. So yeah, I made the natural transition. I was really interested in Hearthstone, and yeah, it looked very fun when I first saw it, and I really wanted to try it out. So I did, and yeah, from the start, my plan was to become one of the best players in the game, just like I was in the World of Warcraft trading card game. And so yeah, so I did.
That's great. And how do you approach each season, and what strategies do you use to climb your way to the top of the rankings, get legend, etc.?
So yeah, it depends on my motivation, I guess, right? Usually I'd always try to play the best decks. Like I usually always like to play the best decks that give me the highest win rate, because obviously I like winning, and yeah, the more I win, the more I have fun. So I try to just play the best strategies, the best decks, whichever works best on ladder for me, and I just keep playing that until I get legend. And yeah, sometimes I switch it up. Sometimes I try getting legend with like weirder decks for my stream. But yeah, usually I just play the best decks so I can win the most.
And you like deck building as well, or you prefer getting the proven decks?
Oh, I love building decks, but generally I wouldn't consider myself a good deck builder. I'm not the creative. Like, I'm not creative enough to come up with like good ideas, I suppose. I like to try out my own builds as well, and some have success, some don't. So it's
Of
a
course,
mixed
like
bag,
always.
and in that case, I'd rather just take inspiration from ideas that other have and try to improve on them, and yeah, like put my mark on that kind of deck type instead of just trying to come up with something super original and call it my own, complete 100% my own, because that usually fails, and until you find like a right build, yeah, I'd rather just win with already established decks. So yeah, I just don't want to dedicate too much time to to make my own deck basically good.
I
So
think it's
yeah,
not
I'd
really
rather
easy
just
as
play
well.
already good decks.
Alright. And what style of decks do you prefer playing? And of course, do you enjoy the current meta?
The decks I like playing in general are the decks that are winning, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, like
So
you.
yeah, like I said already, I like winning, so I like playing the best decks out there that win me the most games. So, but in general, the class I like the most would be Warlock, because there's a lot of variety when it comes to potential deck types. And also, I really like the hero power, doing something negative to yourself for a bigger advantage. I like those kind of mechanics a lot. Used to like them as well in other card games back in the day. But yeah, that's why I like Warlock. Just the life tap, especially life tap, and like other cards, for example, Soulfire or Doomguard, cards that give you disadvantage but also a big advantage. Those cards I really like in general.
I see. And about the current meta, do you enjoy it? Would you like to change something? Do you prefer the old meta more?
The current meta is, compared to the old ones, pretty bad, I feel like. I mean, it's a conscious design choice by Blizzard to make the meta how it is right now, because they want to not scare away newer players who might be, yeah, who might be scared away by the complexity of the decks that used to be popular. For example, Freeze Mage and Handlock and Miracle combo decks and Patron combo decks and all that kind of stuff. Basically, combo decks in general. Blizzard doesn't really like, because they are obviously not fun and interactive, right?
Yes.
So yeah, but this pretty much means that there's fewer decks with a higher skill cap, and yeah, basically just a lot of curved decks. And there's not many design choices that Blizzard is taking that would like swing the balance of the game in another direction. I feel like they are just continuing the trend that has been established a couple of sets ago already, and just go with that instead of trying out new stuff and taking risks.
Nice. So speaking of that, let's say that you were in charge of Hearthstone. What would you change personally to make it more appealing?
So personally, the biggest thing would obviously be card balance. So you know how every game, when there's something unbalanced in every video game, the developers basically have the opportunity to change it, right? To fix it, to either nerf something or buff something, or just rework stuff. And Blizzard does that from time to time with Hearthstone, not as frequently as in other games, though. So that's kind of a bummer, because that's the beauty of Hearthstone compared to other card games. You have other card games never had that have that opportunity to for cards to be changed, right, in order to balance them. So therefore, you often end up with really broken meta games sometimes in other card games. So it's very hard to balance it. And yeah, Blizzard obviously has the choice to has the opportunity to balance cards on the fly in case ever something is ever too bad or too good. So they can just make changes and yeah, also because of that, take more risks when it comes to different card designs or mechanics or stuff like that. Because if it ever happens that the mechanic or a specific card design is too broken and just doesn't work out, then they can change it.
Do you think that adding more cards would help as well?
What do you say?
Do you think that adding more cards would help as well, instead of balancing the current ones?
Yeah, of course. I mean, any kind of change is always good and freshens up the meta game. It doesn't have, like, a lot of people are asking, oh yeah, we want new cards faster, but that's not necessarily, that's not really necessary sometimes. Like, even if they release new content in a slow amount of time, as long as they make those changes, those nerfs and buffs, already with small buffs and nerfs, as we've seen in the past, when the game was still in beta, the meta game changes a lot. Even if only 1 or 2 cards get buffed or nerfed, and we've seen that in the past, and a lot of players are always welcoming the changes, not only because it freshens up the meta, but also, yeah, it's just fun to try out new stuff and to see if the old stuff is still good after being buffed or nerfed. Yeah, it's just so much. Yeah, it just adds so much variety, even though you don't introduce anything new technically.
So you prefer balancing over adding new content, right?
And I prefer both, really. Like, of course, I always like playing with new cards as well, and especially if they like add something completely unique to the game, which hasn't been seen before. And I feel like currently it's just not been the case that we've seen a lot of new refreshing stuff. With the last 2 sets, they pretty much added nothing new to the table. When it comes to mechanics, the last new mechanic we saw was Discover, which was very well received, and it's kind of like good RNG, like how an RNG card, in my opinion, should look like. And
it limits RNG as well, as you have to choose between cards usually.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really cool mechanic that a lot of players received with great praise. And yeah, I like to see more mechanics that just push the envelope of what the game could become and just try to change the game, like how the game is played as well.
I see. So recently you won the Insomnia Truesilver Championship, and it was your first title win after almost 2 years before with Heroes of the Cards. So how did that feel, and what kept you away from competing all these months?
I've been competing all the time. It's not like I have been living under a rock or anything. And I also, between Heroes of Cards and Insomnia, I won some tournaments as well. Just not like major ones, of
Yes, yeah, of
course.
course.
But yeah, it's like Insomnia was I think my 6th tournament win, I think. And yeah, besides that, I had like some couple of good performances as well, top 4, top 8, and stuff like that. And yeah, of course, it's been a little bit of a dry spell, you could say, because I haven't had great success up until that point when it comes to tournaments. But I've had it's a thing of perception, you know. It's all about consistency. Some players get that like one big win, and then do nothing after that at all, and just yeah, everybody forgets about them. But I'm also a constant presence. I go to every event and try to perform my best at every event. And yeah, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. It's yeah, it's a card game after all. Even if you play perfectly and you prepare perfectly, you can still lose in the first round and be eliminated instantly. Because yeah, you got unlucky basically, right?
Of course,
So
luck is always a factor.
it's all about how often you play, and like it's all about how yeah, how hard you have to try hard every time, and you have to try a lot in order to constantly earn money with tournaments.
Right. So, speaking of tournaments and such, what are your goals for Hearthstone this year, and maybe the first months of the upcoming year?
My goals for Hearthstone, yeah, I mean, of course, I'm gonna be playing Hearthstone constantly. I like the game still, even though it is the way it is right now. I still like playing it, and yeah, I will attend every possible tournament that I can attend. For example, yeah, there's gonna be DreamHack Winter. Like that's the next big one that has been announced already. That's open to everyone. Might be something before that as well. And also, what I like to do in the future is to cast more. I've been casting more and more recently. For example, at the recent PGL Tavern Tales in Bucharest, I've casted a lot of games, and yeah, the WSG qualifiers, for example. So I really am looking forward to cast more, because it's also a lot of fun, and yeah, obviously it also pays well. So
Do you
why
enjoy
not?
it more than playing?
No, I'm a competitor at heart, and that's what I always will be, right? I've always been a competitor, and I will always be a competitor. So mainly yeah, you cannot extinguish this competitive spirit. For me, it's what I thrive on. I just yeah, I just love competing,
That's a good
and
thing to have.
I want to do it. I want to keep doing it in the future, and yeah, it's a lot of fun for me, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Great. And you recently left Cloud9. Do you have plans for a new team soon?
Well, I'm open to any offers. I've been in talks with some teams, but nothing has nothing has come to fruition just yet. So yeah, I mean, I'm a really good person to work with. So if any team is looking to pick me up, feel free to contact me, and I will consider the offer.
Great. I'm sure any team would be glad to have you in its roster. So, do you have any advice or thoughts you'd like to share with your fans or other aspiring competitive players that want to be like you?
Well, just it's always important to have a passion for the game, and to play it a lot. Of course, that comes with the passion. Just always try to perform your best. Always find ways to improve yourself. Learn from your mistakes, and don't get tilted by RNG that's out of your control. Basically, you are not supposed to focus on that. So don't get tilted if like cards with the word random on it defeat you. Just yeah, try to find your mistakes that you made and try to improve upon those mistakes. and yeah, play with players that are on your level or preferably better, because you can learn that much more than if you just play against weaker players on ladder, for example. So yeah, and have fun, basically. That's the most important part. If you don't have fun playing the game, then you shouldn't pursue a career in that kind of field.
Do you think that sometimes you lose the part fun when you play too competitively?
Sometimes but it happens to everyone who plays too much, I feel like, right? If you play too much, eventually you get burned out and you just lose passion. And in order to not lose your passion for the game, you should.
An airplane is falling.
Yeah. In order to not lose passion for the game, you should not play too much, right? Because then it feels after all like a grind and like a job you start to hate eventually, and that's not what should happen. You should be still seeing this as a game that you have a lot of fun with and that you really enjoy. So that's the most important part.
Of course, of course. Let's say you are a castaway in a remote, isolated island. Which Hearthstone personality would you choose to help you survive, and why?
I would choose, I think, Dark Onix. He's a big, strong dude from Sweden, and he definitely can help me out in just fighting bears and all the other wildlife and building stuff, and yeah.
Great, alright. So I think we can wrap it up. Do you have any final shout-outs?
Final shout out goes out to all my viewers who still watch my stream, and I hope that everything is gonna be I still hope for like a bright future. So anyone who is gonna be involved in that future, shout out to you.
Great. I think that your future is bright as well. So thank you for having this interview with me. Thank you everyone for watching. You can all follow Ekop on Twitter at Ekop. I have right here written. Please drop him a follow. So thank you very much once again. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye bye.